everyone. I'm super excited to have Robert come and talk about our news on demand solution. Robert runs global communication for Siemens, and you've been doing it for about 3 years, right? I'm sure everyone is aware of Siemens and the magnitude of that organization. So it's pretty impressive. And I think probably a lot of you know how much I love our news on demand solution. It's one of my very favorite that we sell. It sells itself, basically, is why I think I like it so much. But it's an easy one. There's so many great qualities about it. But with that, let's start chatting about this. I've got some questions.
Awesome.
All right. Like I said, you've been at Siemens for about 3 years, and News on Demand was already there when you came on board. So, you got used to it, but in that time, over the last 3 years, what have you seen happen with News on Demand, right, as you've been working with it?
Well, luckily, got a great developer in Martin Ratton. One thing I've seen is it evolve into what I specifically want and need, which has been amazing. We just continue to see our partner ecosystem grow. We continue to see, in turn, our number of users inside of News on Demand grow. The biggest thing that we do, and that I do, is, so I brought just this one slide. This is a small example of just what my group is throwing at partners. So when we talk about our partners, I work in the software division of Siemens. Almost all of our partners are engineers. They're usually running an engineering business on top of what they're doing. It'd be great if they were just only selling our software, that was it. But we're throwing so many things at them nonstop. And my job is to limit that noise. I need to reduce these arrows as much as I can. So News on Demand product, we got the newsletter, and we've got the one-off emails. And so what's so great about it is the API built into our Salesforce. Sorry, we don't use PRM yet.
But you heard that. He said yet.
So, but we can pinpoint exactly what we're sending to who, by function within the partner, by their role, by the products they're contracted to sell. And that way, when we are sending them things, it's relevant. And it's going to the right person. So inside of my company, there's, I'd say, we'll just say for ease, 100 products. That's a very, very low estimate. So a partner might only sell a handful of them. But without this tool, what we would have is you either run a custom report for every single communication you want to send so you can try to get the right audience, or you send it to the partner audience. And that led to so much irrelevant noise coming at our partners. So that's been kind of the biggest thing I've been able to do with the platform myself, is continue refining it, and making sure we're getting relevant information to the right people when they need it.
I love that, because we don't want to inundate our partners with content that's not informative, helpful. They won't open it. They won't click through it. And in fact, they'll unsubscribe. You don't want that.
Yeah, and that's one thing. When I inherited the system, there were literally, so I say 100 products. There's 25 to 30 product groups, and within those, there are multiple products within. So, I don't know if anybody here has ever heard of things like Siemens Team Center or Siemens NX CAD software, or, okay, excellent. but there are literally like 8 versions of them. So when it used to be that partners had to go in and go through this whole entire checklist of what they want. Now we've got it simplified, reduce the noise. You sell mechanical design software. That's what you're opted into now, and that's from their side, ease. From my side, I can still pick and choose, based on their contract products. So yeah, it's
I love that. Ease of use for you and them. That's great.
absolutely.
Okay, so we talked about how you help streamline it for your partners, and how it's kind of impacted the organization that way. What have you seen happen internally at Siemens with News on Demand?
When when I got the program, there was, I would say we were much more siloed. We're we're breaking down silos with News on Demand. Like, I have people from all these product groups coming at me. So that was the other thing, is these product groups used to go straight to partners themselves, and but then you're talking, you got sales, marketing, pre-sales, all the different functions, and they would all be sending essentially the same thing, overlap. And now with our newsletter and these communications, it all has to go through News on Demand. We've made it our official communications platform. It's inside of our policy and procedures that you're opting in by signing up to be a partner. And so that's actually connecting other people who didn't know what that the marketing team was working on this new release, that sales now is aware of it, or especially when we talk about it being a global team, the zones and the country managers and things like that. It connects it. Yeah, it's supposed to be a partner communication tool, but it's actually very effective internally.
I can see that, definitely. I think there's also a great ability to have other team members within other departments contribute.
I have 130 contributors right now, from just around the company, and basically anybody who has something that they need to get to a partner audience, we train them to be a contributor. It's 5-10 minutes, but once they and I would say 15 to 20 who regularly contribute, and that means sending emails or putting things, submitting them to me for the newsletter. So it's given them that avenue to connect with the partner audience. But yeah, that number just continues to grow and grow. Siemens owns a lot of different businesses. Like if anybody is into software development, low code, we own Mendix. We have a EDA business called Mentor Graphics. And all these side groups are coming to me right now, trying to get into the platform. There's a little bit of constraint there because they have their own Salesforce instances, so we're trying to figure out how to bring their partner audience into ours. That's such a huge part of it too, is just the Salesforce integration, because as people come and go in Salesforce, they're automatically added and removed from the system. So always up-to-date contacts. So we got to figure that out. That's our problem, not
Tell me why those new groups want to come be part of it.
because they see the results. So it's kind of also interesting. Siemens $1.3 billion net software business from just the partner ecosystem. 2 people run all the communications. I'm one of them. And they see that so the bigger part of my team's so we're global partner enablement and communications. On the enablement side, we have all these certification programs for every functional role, and So that's where we can kind of always see it right away internally, is that you need to complete your cert. I send that out in an email through News on Demand, or even a newsletter reminder, and we watch it without fail every time. Huge spikes. So that's why people are coming to us, because the results are there and they're undeniable.
I love that. I love that. Okay, so that's a big win. What are some other wins you have that you would highlight?
Again, bringing our zones together. So when we're a global team, the zones actually have their own presence. They're actually could be considered more important than us, because
Explain a zone.
a zone. So EMEA, Asia Pacific, and the Americas, we operate we just separate into 3 zones, and there's different rules of engagement. There's different laws, all these things that have to be adhered to. But so they all had their own communication systems for a long time, and they've all now pretty much standardized on News on Demand. That's why I have so many contributors, because it's global. They're coming from everywhere, and I can't fight them off fast enough.
I don't think you want to fight them off.
Some of them.
This makes you more and more important.
It's really kind of crazy. It's, I think, really good that it's centralized, but it really does all flow through me. I'm an editor and writer by nature, and so everything that comes in, I'm editing it and cleaning it up and get it, polishing it before it goes. But that's literally all communications to our partners are just flowing through me. It's gotten a lot of high visibility
Definitely.
from as high up as the CEO of Siemens. I ended up on a call with him, I would say accidentally, a couple weeks ago.
Wasn't accidental.
I thought I was meeting with his admin to just get a quote. I wrote approved, and hop on the call, and there's Tony, just me and him for about 30 seconds, just us two, before luckily my boss got on too. So.
That's hilarious. Rob, did you have a question?
Yeah, so you mentioned 130 content providers,
Contributors.
contributors.
Yep.
Thank you. Is that an increase or a decrease with News on Demand? Would you like to have less, or would you like to have more?
Well, like I said, there's really 15 to 20 that I would say are very consistent. There's 130 or so that can go into the platform, have been trained to do it, and can set things up to go. Now, so there's an important last step there, and that's me, because again, there's very few people that have been given a green light to just send out things on their own. I'm always looking for more contributors. I think it's great, because then I know that they're not hitting our partners from the side without us seeing it. I have visibility on all of it. I like that. So if there's more to be had, I want more. And yeah, so I don't think it's a matter of more or less. It's just I just want anybody who's going to be sending partners to be working through us.
Does anybody have bypass authority?
There is a couple. I had to make a couple concessions to get the zone, the America zone, oddly, in. They have a very competent communications person, and she sends emails to the. Yeah, so she's the only one who really gets to just go straight past me. And then there used to be another guy who was very, very good at writing. He always checked his links, because that's the other thing. People submit things, forget to put the link in, So it's always good to have that check on the end. But yeah, it doesn't have to be that way. It's just I got to rule with an iron fist, so.
The hammer comes down on you if it's wrong. So I know that. I know your boss. Whew. So, so those are some success stories. What else? What else would you say? Like, what are some examples of things that News on Demand has done for your organization that would help inspire?
Like I said, I think the biggest thing is just seeing the results every time it's clear as day. We have an initiative, we run it through News on Demand, and we see the result we're looking for. Our open and click rates, that's what communications lives and dies by, is open and click. But that's the more interesting part about being on like the enablement team, because my boss doesn't really care about opens and clicks. It's a 10-person team. 8 of them are doing enablement. He wants to see the certs flying up. So that's where it becomes a lot more.
Yeah, he doesn't care if they're clicking on
Right.
it.
It's what action did they take, and
Did they get
following
certified?
through. And that's the content of the courses, of course, and also getting them to actually click on it by having a good message, a good compelling message.
Well, that's huge, right? Part of the benefits of News on Demand is a partner gets to go in and subscribe, right? So they click on the kind of content that they want, which makes their ability to, or their desire to open those emails and those newsletters go way up. And then you implemented languages with it.
We're currently at 13 languages that we translate to. So we have, right now we're using an external vendor for that. So there's a button inside of News on Demand. I edit everything, and then before I approve it and send it out, I hit send for translation. It goes to a company called Alpha, and they translate it, put it back into the system, and then we have local approvers around the world that verify that it's a good translation. So that slows non-English versions down. But you heard all the talk about AI all day. We're looking to put that in. We've got our own custom machine learning translation tool that we're building at Siemens, and that it's based off just a GPT, that we'll be able to implement into the next iteration of News on Demand and speed that up quite a bit.
Using Orchestration Studio
Orchestration, of course.
to do the translations.
Of course.
It's going to be so cool. I'm excited. You're not. I am. I'm super excited for it.
I'm just now learning Orchestration Studio. As Trevor mentioned, until recently, News on Demand's been a standalone product, not integrated into the PRM side. So everything you guys are probably used to seeing is all brand new to me. The back end of News on Demand looks quite a bit different than that, but we did. Yeah, well, and I'm leading the implementation for PMA right now. And so that's how I'm being introduced to it first before the new News on Demand comes out. So getting familiar.
Once you launched languages, you had some massive success. Massive.
Yeah, so last year we had, I don't know if this clicker's not. All right. Yeah, I thought I put those on some.
No, just the one slide.
Oh
is all
yeah,
you
I
gave.
said that at the beginning too.
Yeah.
I knew that. Yeah.
I have some of the numbers I can read.
Yeah, if you want to share those, because
In Indonesia, you have a 50% open rate. Right? And a 43% click-through rate.
and
Vietnamese is 58% open rate. Are you kidding me? Like, that's crazy good. Thai, it's 41% with a 28% click-through rate. That's incredible.
Yeah, and the number of partners in those countries is continuing to grow. So that's why we prioritize them in the last couple years to get in to have those translations, and we're seeing that it's very effective, and we're happy with it. It's interesting because Siemens, outside of the partner ecosystem, doesn't actually officially support those languages. So we're actually going a little bit above and beyond.
I didn't know that.
But yeah,
Look at you, overachiever.
again,
love it.
pressure from the zones.
I love it. Okay, so I always like to ask this, and I spurred it on Casey too. Tell me from this, 3 years you've been there, how has this helped or impacted you with your career?
As I sort of alluded to earlier, there's always a lot of eyes on me now. I before this job, I was still at Siemens, was aerospace and defense industry marketing writer. I worked with one person. He was the industry the industry manager. And so I'd go weeks where I'd talk to one person, and now it's I'm connected to literally the whole company, and so it's been good. I think that seems like there's nowhere to go but down from here. I mean, it's good. It really
you
is.
don't.
No, I'm just saying, like, I've ascended at least in perception, a lot higher than I thought I ever would at this company. I used to just kind of, like I said, be kind of work from home, talk to one person, didn't know, but no, the white papers, the ebooks, those things don't get bylines, so nobody really knew who I was.
Well, I love that. I mean, you did mention you were on a phone call with the CEO by yourself, at least for 30 seconds.
Yeah, that was.
He knows your name.
And it was a video call too, and I mean, look at me, like I don't belong. I don't belong in front of the CEO of Siemens.
Stop it. Stop it. No. Okay, so I also want to know what's going forward? What do you have on the roadmap?
Again, the AI is huge. It's actually been really good already for a lot of the contributors who can't write. It's made their writing better. It's still, I personally can always tell immediately when somebody's used AI, as probably most anybody can. So I inevitably rewrite it, but at least I understand what they were trying to say. No, sorry. But it's so AI is going to be big. Really looking forward to News on Demand 2.0 because of that CRM sync. That's going to be extremely huge for me to even start pinpointing communications even further, more granular, and talk about the open and click rates. It's because of how targeted the communications are. That's why the open and clicks are what they are. So I expect that to even grow even more in the future.
I think so. And then you mentioned that you're using PMA, our partner marketing automation, and being able to correlate the data from the newsletters and the Google Ads campaigns and report on all of it. That's coming 2025.
Yeah, looking forward to it. No specific dates have been announced, but yeah, I hear it's gonna be awesome.
It is. It's going to be awesome. Okay, questions? Landon.
Did the centralization, was it always centralized before you took over, or was that part of that process? What was the sort of, how fast?
The vision was for it to be centralized, but as I mentioned, the zones operate independently of the global team. So from the global team is to make sure there's consistency in certain ways we do business. Then the zones, they operate how they want to. So with my predecessor who had the platform, I think had it as a goal to centralize. It just there was friction that created some barriers there. And my big thing has just been removing all that, making it as easy as possible for people to work with the system and work with our team.
What was the catalyst to bring the barriers down? Was it top down?
Yeah. So my boss's boss, he's got the authority to over the zones, so he really pushed that. But you still, it took some diplomatic relations and building and
Personality
trying-
conflicts, changes.
yeah, that had a lot to do with it. Is I'm a writer and editor. I'm not a quality control manager with my own standards. I want everybody's message to get out, and yeah. So there were some issues with things not getting where they needed to be because it wasn't up to someone else's standards. It's like, I'll bring it up to the standard. That was kind of, I think, the shift in attitude that allowed the centralization to really move forward, was people actually being able to use the platform.
Makes sense. Any other questions?
Yeah, as the main gatekeeper for all of those submissions for content, how do you determine like what's most likely going to perform best? That definitely needs to be included, sent out. And is there any type of content that people will submit to you that you're like, no way, this cannot go forward for engagement reasons or anything else?
There's very little that just gets turned away. That's where the beauty of having the one-off emails and then the newsletter. The newsletter becomes kind of more of a catch-all and still pinpoint targeted. So whenever somebody's a contributor, that's one of our groups, targeting groups. It may not actually be put in front of a lot of eyes outside of Siemens, but it's going to be in their newsletter and they're going to feel good about it.
Wow, that's where my articles go. Thanks a lot. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I don't know if you were there for the implementation of it, but I'm just curious how long it takes to implement it and get it really going before you start seeing results.
I was not there for the implementation. I'll venture to guess it took a while of people started getting this, because this happens when we sign a new partner. They don't know like what this is, so they'll unsubscribe, and then suddenly I'm getting emails from their partner manager. Hey, we need them back in the system. They're not getting these messages because, like I said, we made it the official communications tool. So we don't mandate it, but you're going to miss a lot of important things. So I think there was probably a lot of that at the beginning from the partner side, what it looked like internally to build it. Yeah, like I said, that it was there. It was in place for, I think, 2 years before. I think it's been in place since 2019. I've been doing this since 22, so.
Implementation can vary too, based on, the magnitude of your partner ecosystem, right? How much segmentation, localization, all of that kind of stuff. So it really can vary. But if you have a lot of that already defined, that really helps the process go by very quickly.
I would say that communication is key, but it being the platform to communicate, it's.
Other questions, anyone?
I have one on just how you sorry, we're like just kind of looking at each other through this podium, but I had a question on how you prioritized which assets to translate and like kind of what that process was like for you. Like, did you guys just go ad hoc? Was it a little more formal? Was it by top performers?
So assets being translated, like that would be, when I hear assets, I think of marketing assets. So basically, all content gets translated to its applicable audience. So there's really not ever there's not really a prioritization there. If this is meant to only go to Asia, it's going to be translated into all of our Asian languages. If it, we get country specific sometimes. So yeah, the translation process is just a step in pretty much every single piece of content that comes through.
A language is either on or off.
Right. Yeah. When you select so when you're entering information into News on Demand, you select your audience, and it's already knows what language these people speak. So it'll, like, when you go to hit translate, it'll only offer you the languages of the audience you've selected.
Sorry, another translation question. So you're translating the emails or newsletters, but for example, if it's a white paper that hasn't been translated, so the link goes to the English document, is that a thing that happens, or you just say if you don't have a translated document?
So that's actually coming a lot more into play with PMA because of, like, Google Ads. We're still trying to figure that out a little bit because we don't translate every document internally. That is marketing, and those are done by country planners. They're determining what campaigns they're setting up, and so when an asset is selected, it'll get translated for those for whatever country it's going to be used in. But for the most part, there's some of those languages Lindsay was mentioning. There are partners there who literally do not speak English, cannot read English. Pretty much everywhere else, especially all of Europe, reads English. Our America's partners pretty much can all read and speak English. So yeah, a lot of times the asset is only available there. We also usually, the link to the asset is going into our asset management library that's Siemens, and they can find a translated version if it's available. Just from clicking the link to the English, they'll see what other languages are available.
I'm familiar with, like, concept of mail on demand, but not like the process to actually utilize it. So I'm just envisioning when you're talking about, the newsletters on demand, is there like a certain date each month that everybody has to send you their contributions by?
I love this question.
And they get published like once a month?
Ours is a weekly newsletter. And I have usually between 20 to 25 articles in every week. We have so many webinars, so many new certification courses, so many new release updates to all of our different products. Like, if we just did it once a month, it would just be a ginormous read for the partner. I kind of set the deadline of Wednesday morning by 9 a.m. Eastern because I live Central. So when I get up on Wednesday, the newsletter goes out Thursday. It actually starts getting sent at about 8:30, 9 o'clock my time, just because it's going to go to Asia. So it's because it sends at 9 a.m. local time around the world. So 8 a.m. on Wednesdays, but people are always late, and that's fine. As long as by the time my day's done, I'm not still getting things, it's all good. So yeah.
The tool will actually allow a partner to select the frequency they want, and you can choose what that frequency looks like. So if they want it on a weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, however you want to do it, daily, then those articles will just start going out. And so nothing's ever stale waiting for the quarter newsletter, right? And then you know, if there's one article or if there's 20, they get them all at the time that they want. So if they decide they don't want to be inundated, or they do, it's at the frequency they want. So that's what helps that click and open rate too.
I have about 24,000 partner users and 1,500 or so internal. And out of all those, there's, I think, 150 monthly. The monthlies as far out as we allow. About 150 monthly subscribers, and bi-weekly there's, I think, like 60 or 70. So it's a very small percentage of our readership has chosen to change the frequency, because yeah, I think it'd just be a lot to get all at once and actually sift through if you're, because you're automatically opted into everything when you get it. So you have to go in and choose. If you don't want everything, you choose what you don't want anymore.
Well, you have a lot of content contributors. I'm sure most people here wish they had that many. Go ahead.
So the platform also has the capability to select what is the best and worst news based on the click rate.
The best and worst news?
Yeah, kind of give us like a marketing tool, right? Some guidance in your materials based on the click rate. I believe do the analysis to see which material was most viewed, right? I don't know.
Yes.
Definitely reporting.
Yeah. So the way the newsletter is set up is people select content categories. I've prioritized those content categories. With usually the biggest things we have are new enablement courses and upcoming webinars. And then there's always other more exciting things that stay at the top. I always have a featured article every week. That's usually something, hopefully it's something our partners have been involved with. I like to feature them when they're part of a new case study or have a big win. And then there'll be some other, like, here's some awesome new simulation functionality in one of our products. And then it gets to the other one. So the webinars are listed just in, you select a date on these, and so it just lists them chronologically. And then I put all the enablement at the bottom, because these are the things that people go to. I want them to scroll through the whole thing. So I try to put the stuff that I think that are, yeah, so sometimes put some of the things that I know that they want and need toward the bottom, so they go through the whole thing and find the other stuff. It hasn't hurt me yet, so.
That's mean. It's like a casino. Make you walk all the way through. It's so rude.
So is it fair to say the newsletters are pushed, but then will the content live in the portal? So if I'm logging in to do my deal registration or my FBO,
For you, it would. Yeah. He doesn't use PRM yet. Yes, but it would redirect them back to the portal to increase that engagement.
Yeah, and there's a news, and I don't know, this is really on what she was asking, but the news portal. So everything that gets posted to the newsletter, there's also a website that probably nobody here can access called SiemensPartnerNews.com. I think you have to have the Siemens SSO to get in, web key access, but everything that goes in the newsletter also lives there. So that way, if you miss something, or you saw it in the newsletter but can't find that newsletter, you can always go to the news portal and find the information there.
Yeah.
So you're saying on the reporting, there's a reporting feature on the newsletter also, so it will show you who clicked on what articles the most?
Yeah, I can.
So you go back to your contributors and say you're not getting clicks.
That's crap.
No,
Don't submit that.
No, that's actually a really good point. We have some people who insist that the newsletter is garbage because nobody comes to their events, and it's like I'm literally begging you to just give me more information. Something, it can't just be this exists. Click on it. Like, got it.
There's a different dashboard for that?
So I can go into every single article individually and look exactly who clicked on what, or I get, because I'm not in PRM yet, I get monthly uploads into a SharePoint of all of our stats and what each article, how it performed. So I don't have to actually go into it. But yeah.
Yeah, so you'd have the ability to see this article, this many people, the percentage of people that clicked on it, or this one was a dud, or the one Robert wrote was amazing, 98%, right?
I'll have these PRM powers by next time.
I love it. Any other questions? All right. Jane, it's all you now.
Go.
Oh, wait, one more. Sorry. Premature.
I'm curious about getting caught in spam traps and stuff, because obviously our partners get information from the PRM about other things. So say the news on demand, if they're getting too much information, they unsubscribe from all that. Does that affect any other communications they get from the PRM? Have you noticed any issues with spam or just being blocked?
So again, I not using PRM. We have dealt with needing to tell partners to mark Siemens Partner News as a safe sender domain. We have to do it inside of Siemens too. I think one of the issues is that it's Siemens Partner News. It's not, and then it's not an official Siemens site or official domain. So that's one reason it gets caught up. But that has been a very minor issue. Like our delivery rate is not a problem.
There is also, like you mentioned, a one-off email ability. So you can do the newsletters and do separate email communication to partners through that. So
They were annoyed by our marketing sends and they blocked it. It wouldn't block them from other sales related PRM emails.
I don't know the answer to that. Rob, do you?
Say that again?
If say we annoyed them with our marketing emails and they blocked us or blocked Impartner, would that affect the emails they would get from the sales side of the house?
No, those are considered transactional, so
Okay.
that you can't really opt out of a deal reg or
Right.
yeah, so those are completely separate.
Okay.
That's what I thought, but wasn't positive. So didn't want to give you that information on stage. Be bad. Anyway, any other questions? Or
Do you do any source impersonation, like it's coming from their account manager, those kinds of things?
No. So to a degree, possibly. So within the zones, so every zone has its own big leader. I have templates set up for all of them with their picture on it, and so it'll say, for example, Jennifer Lim is the name of our Asia Pacific zone lead. We have one that'll say it comes from jennifer.lim@siemenspartnernews.com. The reply is straight to her email address or her admin actually, but it still looks like they recognize the name, so but most of our stuff just comes from news alert at siemenspartnernews.com or news admin.
I like that. So the ability, yes.
Yeah, that's actually been quite in demand too. Is everybody sees my boss or the zone leads? They all think that they should have their own template with their picture on it.
Starts a slippery slope there, right? All right. Thank you, everyone.